Air travelers, pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you will change the way you pack forever. TSA is quietly rolling out new carry-on rules for 2026, and most travelers will walk straight into the airport totally unprepared until their bag gets flagged, pulled aside, or flat out denied. But that won't be you. Today, you're getting ahead of everyone else. Before we dive in, go ahead and tap like so this video reaches more travelers who need to know this, and hit subscribe if you want to stay protected, stress-free, and always one step ahead of the next airport rule change. Trust me, the 2026 updates are bigger than you think. Now, let's get into it. Because these new rules, they affect your liquids, your electronics, your bags, your boarding experience, and even the way overhead space is being handled. And TSA isn't warning anyone, not yet. So picture this. You're in line at airport security. You're thinking everything is normal. You've flown before. You know the drill. Take out liquids, follow the 311 rule, hope the line moves fast. But suddenly, the person in front of you gets stopped. Their bag gets diverted into secondary screening. The TSA officer points at a new sign, and the traveler looks completely confused. You think to yourself, what new rule did they break? Well, in 2026, there are several possibilities. TSA is changing scanners, changing what counts as a restricted liquid, changing carry-on enforcement, and even changing what items must be in your carry-on versus your checked bag. And if you don't know these changes ahead of time, you'll hit delays, stress, maybe even last-minute bag checks. Let's start with the biggest update: the new CT scanners. Airports have slowly been replacing the old X-ray conveyor scanners with CT scanners. These are the same technology hospitals use. The image clarity is insanely high. That means TSA officers can see inside your liquids, inside your electronics, inside anything that used to require removal. You won't need to take out laptops or liquids at airports with the new scanners. But this is where most travelers get confused. Not every airport has them yet. Not every lane at upgraded airports uses them. And not every airline checkpoint is consistent. So the 2026 rule change isn't, you don't need to remove liquids anymore. It's deeper than that. It means rules will vary based on which lane you're sent to. You might breeze through one airport without unpacking a thing, then get stuck unpacking everything line by line on the return trip. This inconsistency is why many travelers end up fumbling, slowing down the line, or getting pulled aside for repacking. Now, let's talk liquid exemptions. And this one surprises almost everyone. There are now 11 categories of liquids and gels that no longer follow the 311 rule, even at airports that still use the older scanners. These exemptions were always on the books technically, but in 2026, they're finally being standardized and enforced more clearly. These include things like medical liquids, medications requiring cooling packs, breast milk, baby formula, and certain assistive care gels. But here's the trick. TSA won't tell you these items are exempt unless you ask. The policy exists, but the responsibility falls on the traveler. And the number of adults traveling with medical liquids or cooling packs is growing every year. If you don't mention it, TSA treats your items like any other liquid and flags your bag. When you travel in 2026, the smartest thing you can do is tell the officer immediately, I have medically necessary liquids in my bag. That one sentence prevents 90% of liquid-related delays. Now let's talk batteries, because this rule is catching people off guard. In 2026, TSA is reinforcing something airlines have quietly pushed for years. Lithium batteries and power banks must remain in your carry-on. You cannot check them, not even if your bag is overweight. Not even if the gate agent says your carry-on must be checked. If your bag gets gate checked, you are responsible for removing your batteries or power bank before handing the bag over. This causes chaos at the gate when people don't know the rule. Travelers scramble to dig through their suitcase, holding up boarding, stressing everyone out. But the airline can't bend this rule. Lithium batteries are a fire risk in cargo. Here's where experienced travelers have an advantage. They keep all batteries in one small pouch at the top of their bag. If the airline forces a gate check, you grab the pouch in 1 second. No drama, no delay, no stress scrambles. Airlines appreciate this because you keep the boarding process running smoothly. Now let's talk about overhead bins. Because 2026 might be the strictest enforcement we've ever seen. Airlines are increasingly counting how many large carry-ons are brought onto the plane. Some are even weighing bags at the gate. Why? Because overhead bin space is becoming competitive real estate. When passengers bring oversized or extra bags, boarding slows to a crawl. In 2026, gate agents are being instructed to more aggressively check bags that look too big, even if they technically fit. Travelers who don't know this are getting caught off guard. But seasoned flyers use a simple trick. They claim overhead space early. Here's how it works. The moment you board, you place your bag in the overhead bin above your own row, even if it's empty. This prevents someone further back from filling your space and forcing you to search later. It also signals to the flight attendants that your bag fits properly and is stored safely. Let's move on to one of the biggest secret perks travelers don't use: the gate check advantage. If your flight is full and overhead, bins are expected to fill up. Airlines will often offer voluntary gate checking early. Most passengers avoid it, thinking they'll lose access to their bag. But what they don't realize is that voluntary gate check bags are the first bags to come out on arrival, usually before regular checked luggage. If you don't need your items during the flight, this is a way to skip the luggage carousel crowds and leave the airport faster. But here's another insider trick. If your bag is borderline oversized, volunteering early prevents a confrontation with a gate agent later. They'll tag your bag and let you through with no stress. It's a quiet win. Now let's talk about size enforcement for carry-ons, because this part is changing fast. In 2026, TSA isn't the one enforcing bag dimensions. The airlines are. But TSA is indirectly involved because new scanning lanes are designed to fit only certain bag sizes. If your suitcase doesn't lie flat on the scanner belt, or if it jams the rollers, agents may force you to return to the airline desk to have your bag checked. That means even if the airline lets you bring the bag to security, TSA may send you back. You do not want this. The smartest move is to measure your bag at home, including the wheels and handle. Most travelers forget that part. Wheels often push bags over the limit by 1 to 2 inches, and that's enough to get denied during busy times. Another big update in 2026 is the increased use of smart lanes. These are automated security checkpoints that speed up the process, but they come with stricter rules. All items must lie flat. Nothing can overlap inside the bin, and any cluttered bag is automatically diverted to secondary. If you've ever wondered why your bag gets pulled despite having nothing wrong, this is usually the reason. Now let's talk about the packing mistake that ruins more trips than any other. Clutter. TSA's new scanners show every single item inside your bag. If your packing style is messy, wires mixed with chargers, liquids buried under clothes, snacks shoved into pockets, the scanner image becomes a tangled puzzle. TSA agents then mark your bag for manual search, and manual searches take time, create stress, and can cause your items to spill out in front of everyone. Smart travelers pack in clear cubes, one for electronics, one for snacks, one for liquids, one for clothing. When your bag passes through the scanner, the officer sees clean, tidy blocks instead of chaos. Your bag gets cleared faster, and you avoid dirty looks from people behind you. Another major change coming in 2026 involves new priority items. These are things TSA wants at the top of your bag for easier scanning. Tablets, medical devices, prescription liquids, cameras, and anything dense or electronic. If you bury these items, your bag will be flagged. TSA hasn't officially announced this new standard yet, but airports have already begun enforcing it silently. Another massive shift. Many airports are now scanning for prohibited powders and granules, not just liquids. Baby powder, ground coffee, protein powder, spices, powdered supplements. These can all trigger extra screening if they're in large amounts. If you travel with powders, pack them in small containers or place them in a separate pouch to avoid inspection delays. Now, let's talk about the rule almost nobody knows: the reverse search advantage. If TSA pulls your bag for a liquid, powder, battery, or clutter issue, you can request that the agent place everything back exactly as it was. Most people don't know this is allowed. TSA won't pack it for you neatly, like a personal organizer. But they won't just dump your items either. If you're polite, officers usually accommodate you. It reduces embarrassment and keeps your belongings from getting lost. Now, let's move into the part that affects every traveler: the confusing overlap between TSA rules and airline rules. TSA doesn't care how many bags you bring, as long as they're screened properly. But airlines care deeply. In 2026, more airlines will strictly enforce personal item size. Backpacks must fit fully under the seat. Purses that are too large may count as your personal item, and small roller bags may be denied if the overhead bins are already full. Here's the trick experienced travelers use. They choose a soft-sided personal item. Soft bags compress. Hard-sided ones don't. When a bag checker tests your item against the sizing cage, flexible fabric bags slide right in. Hard shell bags fail instantly. Another thing changing is how TSA handles water bottles. In some CT lanes, you no longer need to empty your bottle. The scanner analyzes the liquid. But since not all airports have CT lanes, travelers are confused. The safest play is this: bring an empty bottle through security, then fill it at a fountain. No guessing, no risk. Let's talk about something every traveler deserves: stress-free boarding. In 2026, more airports are matching passports and boarding passes with facial recognition. This speeds up boarding, But if you're not prepared, you may get stuck behind people fumbling at the scanner. Always have your boarding pass ready and flat, not folded. Barcode scanners hate creases. Now, here's where you get a real advantage. If the boarding area is absurdly crowded, walk a few feet down the jet bridge entrance before lining up. The scanner reads you the moment you reach it. This cuts through the bottleneck and gets you on board faster, giving you first pick of overhead space. Let's now talk about protecting yourself from airline tricks, because 2026 brings more than just TSA changes. Some airlines are raising luggage fees, especially for oversized carry-ons. They're also shrinking the size allowed in basic economy. This means the bag that worked last year might get denied next year. The smartest solution is simple. Keep a collapsible duffel bag inside your suitcase. If you're forced to check your main bag unexpectedly, transfer your essentials into the duffel. Boom, you stay in control. And let's talk about the biggest topic of all: how to avoid feeling overwhelmed by all these changes. The truth is, most travelers will show up to the airport in 2026 following rules from 2018. They'll take out liquids they don't need to take out. They'll check batteries that must go in carry-on. They'll bring bags too big for the new scanners. They'll walk right past voluntary gate check opportunities. They'll pack cluttered, disorganized bags and wonder why TSA keeps stopping them. But you? After learning everything in this video, you'll walk through the airport with confidence. You'll know which lane to choose. You'll know how to pack. You'll know what items to keep accessible. You'll know how to protect your bag from being denied. You'll know how to avoid the tension, the delays, the embarrassment, and the surprise fees. You'll be ahead, not reacting. And at the end of the day, that's the entire point. Travel should feel smooth, predictable, and empowering. 2026 will bring changes, yes, but you now have the knowledge to move through them effortlessly. If this helped you, make sure you like the video so more travelers get the advantage too, and subscribe so you never fall behind the next change coming to airports, airlines, or TSA. Travel smarter, travel calmer, and always stay one step ahead.